I've tried to make this video 5 different fucking times in the past 30 minutes. I swear to God. The devil is working hard, honey. Somebody don't want me to tell the truth, clearly. But I can't be silenced, bitch. I will never be silenced. A bitch can never silence me ever in fucking life. I'm ready to talk about this shit now. A long time no see though. Don't be mad at me. It's been 2 weeks since I last made a video. I'm sorry about that. I'm really sorry. This video is for my babies with mommy and daddy issues, or maybe you just have daddy issues, or maybe you have just mommy issues. But me, sister girl, I have both. I have probably every problem, every problem, illness, bitch, you could think of, bitch, I got it. I'm all types of fucked up. I'm all types of crazy, mentally ill, not right in the head. Yes, that's me. I'm not saying that in the sense of like I'm proud, because I wish more than anything, I cry myself to sleep sometimes because I just wish I was regular so bad. But you know, I'm just gonna take pride and be prideful in my insanity and live in my truth. You know what I'm saying? I also want to say that I'm not trying to bash my mom in any kind of way, or my family, or anybody that had anything to do with my upbringing. I'm not trying to bash nobody. This is just me speaking my truth, me telling how I feel. This is everything from my point of view, but also like I'm also stating the facts too. I'm telling the real, what the fuck happened, what the fuck going on. And you know, your childhood is such a big part of who you are, and it's gonna make or break who you are as a person, right? Just for starters, I went to the psychiatrist for the first time about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I got, baby, they told me I'm bipolar, I got ADHD, anxiety, depression. Bitch, I got everything you can fucking think of, probably. Sometimes I be thinking my bipolar is like BPD, but I don't want to. I just pray I don't have that shit, because I grew up in a 2-parent household for the most part, but for a majority of my life I was in a single-parent household. But I live with my mom and my grandma, and like, you know, if your family are immigrants, you know that your family kind of stays together. Like, you guys all kind of stay in the same house, whether it be your aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, everybody, y'all all living in one house. So that's how my my childhood was kind of set up until I was about 9-10 years old. That's when me and my mom really moved out and was on our own shit. So my mom was a single mom up until I was 9 or 10 years old, and then she got married to my stepdad, and she did everything she could. Definitely, I will always give my mom props on that. Like, you know, it's not easy raising a child by yourself, and you know, your baby daddy crazy as fuck, and you want to run from him and da-da-da. Like, my daddy got all types of issues. That's why y'all need to stay away from them Jamaican men, them Caribbean men, please, because my mama been told me, don't ever in your life, don't do that. And you know, I had to learn my lesson. Also messing with Caribbean men myself, will not be doing that again. I will always give my mom props for, you know, raising me and taking care of me. She did everything she could. She always gave me my basic necessities: food, clothes, somewhere to sleep, took me to school, all that. Like, you know, I had a pretty normal upbringing in that aspect, but my mom is not all the way there emotionally. I will say that. And I hate like putting blame on her for the things she did to me in my childhood, but I mean, she did do those things. But also, I don't want to blame her, because I know she probably has a lot of unhealed trauma that she hasn't shared with me, and well, like, you know, shit that I just don't know about. So I don't want to completely blame her. You know, there's other people in her life that factored into the way that she is herself. As an adult now, I've realized I've learned a lot of unhealthy behaviors from my mom. When it comes to my mom's toxic and emotionally immature and narcissistic traits, I get that from my mama for sure. Like, I have a lot of unhealthy learned behaviors from her, and now I'm in the process of trying to unlearn all these behaviors and do better for myself so I could be the best version of myself. But like I was saying, my mom was a single mom. So when I turned about 9 or 10, she got married, and you know, I was living with her and my stepdad, and then she decided to have kids after the fact. So my sisters, I have 2 little sisters, and they're 10 and 13 years apart from me. My mom, what I will say about my mom, I always felt like she was my biggest bully, my biggest hater. experiencing depression when I was 14 years old. Mind you, I've been in therapy since I was 11. And the reason why I was in therapy since I was 11, and this is just me being fully transparent because I really don't give a fuck, and this is me spreading awareness, and I'm to a point now where I'm okay with sharing my story, and I want to educate others on how to cope with that kind of trauma, because I know it's something that's gonna affect you and it's gonna weigh on you for the rest of your life. When I was a toddler up until 11 years old, I was getting SA'd. And when my mother found out I was 11, and then she put me in therapy. So I'm in 5th grade, already going to therapy appointments and shit, and I was really embarrassed. Like, I felt really embarrassed about having to go to therapy and counseling and stuff at such a young age. And I'm like, whole time in my brain, I'm like, how come nobody else gotta go through this shit? Like, I felt like I was really, really alone. I felt like nobody else had to go through things I went through, and I was just, you know, being targeted. And I wanted nothing more than to be normal, for sure. My mom, I've always been attached to my mom. Like, I'm low-key my mama's spinning image. If you see my mama, you'd be like, oh wow, that's your twin for real. Like, I look like just like my mom. But this is such a hard topic for me, but I'm gonna get through it. I've been attached to my mom like forever. Even now, as a 20-year-old, I want nothing more than to be laid up under my mom right now. Like, you don't know how much it hurts, like, not being able to reach out to your, not being able to feel comfortable to reach out to your mom and feel like you have that one person that you could just talk to and will be there for you and give you that, you know, that motherly love. You know, I feel like I lacked a lot of motherly love in my childhood, and it just it fucked me up really, really bad. Motherly love and fatherly love, like both of them. Like, fuck. I'm saying my mom was a single mom, so she would leave me with my grandma a lot, and it got to a point where I was getting tired of my grandma. I was like, I don't want to be with you. I want to be with my mother. Like, where's my mama at? She was always working. If she wasn't working, then she might have been out partying. And, you know, she had me during her little party phase where she wanted to go out, you know, go out, be outside, do that. And I just, every time my mom go out, I'm on the phone crying. Mommy, like, where are you? Like, when are you coming home? Like, why you not here? And she always be like, I'm gonna come home in a little bit, and wouldn't come home for hours later. And I'd be pissed off at her. I'd be waiting. I'd be sitting up all night waiting on my mom to come home. I just really, like, I really, 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 really love my mom. Like, even now, like, I would go beyond, above and beyond for her, definitely. I feel like once she got married, she had other kids, and you know, she found out about my trauma and whatnot, that's when our relationship kind of turned sour. I was having a lot of behavior issues. I was having also a lot of issues with, like, my stepdad and stuff, you know, family issues and whatnot. I just couldn't get along with my stepdad. I didn't really fuck with him. Majority of the time I was growing up, I just did not fuck with that nigga. Like, I don't know what it was. I just did not like him. I liked him when he was my mama's boyfriend, but I just felt like when he married my mom, nobody helped me ease into having a second parent. So for you to be coming around telling me what the fuck to do, and I don't even know you like that, you got me fucked up. Like, and I would tell my mama that, like, please tell that nigga stop telling me what the fuck to do. Like, I don't like that. Like, I don't want him disciplining me. I don't want him trying to order me around, doing that. Like, no. Like, if he wants me to do something for him, tell him to tell you to tell me. Like, I don't want to hear nothing out of his mouth. So I was constantly going through issues with that. Ultimately, my mom is a good mom. She put clothes on my back, food, all that, like I said. But emotionally, she just was not all the way there. She the type where she'll do something for you, and when you piss her off, she'll throw that shit back in your face. Like, she's definitely that type, and that's something that really bothers me. That's why when I do things for people, I'm doing it out of the love, out of my heart, and I will never use that against somebody, because I know I did that out of the kindness of my heart. I didn't do that because I was expecting a favor back or anything like that. I was just doing it purely based off me just loving you and me being kind. My mom, like, she's very emotionally immature and very narcissistic, and I started to realize that as I got older. because anytime I would try to have a vulnerable moment with her, it would always get shut down with you're just being ungrateful, all this shit I do for you, and this is the thanks I get, like, you know, shit like that. Like, I feel like that's so regular, like it's so common in a lot of parents, and they'll do or say things like that, but they don't realize how hurtful it is, especially as you're growing up and you're trying to learn to navigate your emotions, and you're trying to learn how to effectively communicate with the people around you, and you open up yourself to somebody and then they just shut you down. So that caused me to be very, very hard to get through to. A lot of my relationships, I struggle with being vulnerable. I struggle with opening up about my feelings. I struggle with communicating effectively in healthy ways. I struggle with a lot of things like that because of, you know, just the way I grew up, and also being in an immigrant household. A lot of, I don't know if, like, I'm pretty sure it's pretty common in a lot of like foreign households that you guys don't really share your feelings with each other. Everybody's very closed off. Nobody really opens up about themselves and their feelings. But I know when I start a family, I'm gonna make sure my children know that I'm always gonna be a safe space. You can always come and talk to me about anything. I don't even care what the fuck it is. Like, it could be the craziest shit in the world, but I will feel so grateful that my kids came to me and felt like they could open up to me and trust me with telling me something that's bothering them or whatever the case may be. You know? My mother's parenting style has definitely taught me a lot of how I want to be as a mother and things I do and I do not want to do, because it's a lot of things that she has done that I would not do to my kids at all. For instance, her discipline style was very very questionable. Before my mom got married, she definitely was the type where she'll grab anything next to her and smack me with it. Like, she don't give a fuck. Like, I'm getting popped with that shit. It was one time, I remember, she kept telling me, it was a school night, she kept telling me to get in the shower, and I just, you know, I'm a kid. Like, when you're a kid, you don't want to go to sleep, you don't want to take a shower, you don't want to eat, you don't want to do none of that shit. Like, I'm just trying to have fun, trying to play. She was like, she kept telling me, go upstairs, go take a shower, go upstairs, take a shower. And I just would not listen to her. I will admit, I did have a smart ass mouth when I was a kid, and I did not like being told what to do. I still to this day do not like being told what to do. But I didn't get up. Like, after she told me multiple times to go take a shower, she took my jacket that I wore to school that day, had a zipper on it, all that, whipped my meet me with that shit. The zipper hit me. Oh, baby, I want to stay quick, take a shower, quick, went to bed. I knew not to play with my mama. But it's so crazy because, like, me personally, I know not to play with my mother, but my little sisters, they got it easy as fuck. My mama done softened the fuck up, and I always tell her that, like, when me and her was a little bit closer, I would tell her, I'm like, bro, you got soft, you got super soft, because these kids are very disrespectful. They disrespect you all the time, and you don't do anything about it. You sit out, you yell at them, and then you don't do nothing. My mama would yell at me and follow up with a whooping automatically. Like, I'm getting followed up with a whooping, but that's neither here or there. I felt like my mom didn't take me serious when it came to my mental health, and that affected me a lot too as a kid, because when I was in therapy and stuff, they would tell my mom that I was depressed. Like, they could tell that I had a lot of symptoms, a lot of signs of depression and stuff, and I was very suicidal. Like, my early teenager years, I was very, very suicidal, and she just would not take that shit serious. She kept telling me, she was like, oh girl, they're just trying to get my money, they just trying to get more money out of me, I already paid a lot for this therapy. I'm like, hold on, shawty, like, this is shit I might actually need. This is stuff that, you know, I need to know. Like, I need to know, like, if I'm showing signs of anything or any type of illness, because what would happen in the near future if, like, I was to have an episode and you don't know what the fuck to do. Because I had many episodes after that, you know. It was an instance where me and my mom got into a verbal argument, and I was trying to, like, because at that point I started arguing with her because I was pretty fed up with myself, and I was ready to go. I was ready to go, like, physically ready to go. So I had snapped, and we started arguing, and she wanted to fight me, and I was trying to tell her, like, bro, I'm not on that. Like, I'm just going through a lot right now. You're not understanding. Like, I want to unalive myself, whatever. She was like, girl, what the fuck you got? What the fuck problems you have? Like, really sitting here invalidating what I was going through and telling me I had nothing to be sad about. I had nothing to be, you know, trying to unalive myself over. She told me she was about to call the police on. She was gonna call the police on me and tell them to take me to the mental hospital. And it hurt my feelings a lot because it was just something where I felt like I was trying to be vulnerable, even though I did mess up and I snapped on her when I shouldn't, knowing that she's crazy as fuck. I snapped on her and made her turn up and snap back at me. That's a memory that will stick with me probably for the rest of my life, because it was a moment where I needed my mom the most and she completely invalidated me, completely disregarded how I felt, and you know, so on and so forth. I got kicked out the house 3 times in my whole life. Well, 2 times successfully. The first time I just wouldn't leave. But the first time I got kicked out the house, I was 9 years old. Second time I was about 11, 12 years old. And then third time I was 15 or 14. It was that same, I got kicked out the same day that, you know, she wanted to fight me and whatnot. My mom also, when I was 18, when I turned 18, she took it upon herself to tell me, when it comes to anything that you got going on, you handle that yourself. Doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, bills, my phone bill, all this shit. She said, do that yourself. I'm not paying for that shit no more. She kept paying for my phone bill, yes, but I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. But she was trying to pull that, oh, you're grown now. Even though I was still living in her house, she's like, oh, you're grown now, you need to do this shit yourself. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I know I'm 18, but this is a lot, like, for me. And then it's just, she would constantly be arguing with me too about, like, oh, you think you're grown, you this, that, or third, you need to start doing this yourself, and da. Like, I'm not doing this for you no more, all this extra shit. When I graduated, y'all, I had to pay my own car insurance myself. Had to, you know, when it came to car stuff, because I got a car, like, I had to handle that shit myself. And, you know, it always made me feel some type of way, because I had a lot of friends or people I knew that also had cars where their mom or, you know, their parents or their family would take care of stuff like that for them, but my mom just wouldn't. And it's not like my family broke or nothing. My folks got money. They got money. So it was just like, oh, okay. Oh. I always felt like my mom was always trying to be in control of me, and she always tried to control, like, little things in my life. And like I said, I really felt like my mom was my first bully. The reason I straighten my hair so much, and, you know, I don't like having curly hair, is because my mom would straighten my hair a lot as a kid, and she always tell me it looked better when it was straight. But then my little sisters, they got this curly hair. My mom embraces it. My mama loves their hair. But me, she made me, because my hair was a lot more kinkier and my curls were more tighter, she would make me straighten that shit out. So now I don't have no curl pattern, I don't got nothing. I keep my hair straight, and that comes from that. And, you know, my mom, not even just my mom, my family, you know, making comments about me stemmed a lot of insecurities in me as well. My mom always, when it came to my step family, I truly despised my step grandma. My stepdad mom, I truly despised that lady. That I really felt like, to this day, I still feel like that lady was picking on me. And I have cousins and aunties that will literally be like, yeah, she's picking on you. Like, they know she was picking on me. That bitch was picking on me. Literally. She tried to be cool with me now. Okay, I keep it cordial and all that, but it's just like, bitch, I ain't never forget nothing that you did to me. It was so many times where I'll be with all my, like, cousins on my step family side, and she would always single me out, pick on me, make me feel like the odd one out. I truly have felt like the black sheep of my family since a child, and it's very painful. It's very painful. But I will always tell her, like, bro, I always tell my mama, like, this lady is picking on me. She's doing all these things. She's going out her way to make me feel some type of way. And my mom just never believed me. She never stuck up for me. She never did anything. She always invalidated it. And that's something that really, really bothered me as well, because that same lady made a comment about me when I was a little bit younger and I started wearing makeup and stuff. She made a comment about me and told me that I was only pretty because I wore makeup. And it is something that started my insecurities, like, really, really bad. And to this day, I still have insecurities from that one situation. And my mama just brushed it off to the side. She didn't care. No matter how much I cried to her about how mean that lady was, she just never cared. She always brushed my feelings aside. It got to a point where I had my aunts defending me against my grandma on my stepdad's side because my mama wouldn't defend me. She wouldn't stick up for me or anything. I started to really notice I was isolating myself from my family, like, you know, my mom, my stepdad, my sisters. I started to really isolate myself because I felt like the black sheep. I just didn't feel like I fit in with my family. I never felt comfortable talking to my mom about anything I had going on. I always went behind her back and did stuff. When I first started having sex, I went on my way to go get birth control myself, and she had to find out herself that I was, you know, having sex and stuff, and I had to get birth control because I just, you know, I wish I had that safe space to talk to her about, you know, options of me getting on birth control, you know, safe sex and all this extra shit. When I graduated, my mom was drunk at my graduation party. She was drunk, crying to everybody. I just wish me and her could have a better relationship. I just want us to fix everything. I want to be close to my daughter and this, that, and third. And like after I graduated, I had moved out and moved back in with my grandma because I just did not want to live with my mom anymore. It just felt like, okay, you're crying to everybody drunk, telling everybody that you want us to have a better relationship, but I didn't feel like she made any kind of effort. She did try, definitely, but I feel like her hands are too full with my little sisters. And it got to a point where there was no time for me and no effort put into like being involved with me and, you know, getting to know me on a more personal level, because I truly feel like my mother does not know me. I feel like she doesn't know shit about me. I've made a lot of change over the past couple years. Like since I've graduated, I've changed a lot. I've grown a lot as a person. I've learned a lot. I've experienced a lot in the small time frame from me not living with her, and I feel like she doesn't know me as a person now, and that ties into our most recent situation. So I went to LA the beginning of December, right? I went to LA. The day before I left LA, she was already mad at me because she found out through my stepdad, because I told my stepdad because he was texting me, asking me questions about something else that we were supposed to do, and I was like, oh, I don't know, because I think I'm going to LA tomorrow, right? And when I said, oh no, I don't think I can do whatever we had planned because I got my ticket, I'm going to LA tomorrow, right? And I was running errands that entire day, trying to get ready and pack my suitcase and stuff, and I didn't tell her in a timely manner, and she found out before I could tell her, so she was already on my phone, pissed off, going off on me before I left for LA, right? Little does she know, Thanksgiving was the last time she'll ever see me, and it's no telling when she'll probably ever see me again. So the whole month up until about New Year's, she didn't speak to me for real. She told me happy birthday. She didn't say Merry Christmas to me. She said Happy New Year's to me, but that was about it. That's really all, you know, I got from her. So the next time we had an actual conversation was a couple weeks ago, and this is probably around the time where I dropped my last video. My mom texts me and she's like, hey, I didn't know you were moving to Vegas. Like, you didn't really, you know, tell me or anything. You didn't communicate what's going on. Like, I just want to know, like, you know. And I was like, oh, like, I'm sorry. And the reason I didn't reach out to my mom is because I didn't feel comfortable enough to, and I figured that she would know anyways, because if she don't know nothing, my grandma gonna know. My grandma's gonna be the first one to know. My grandma knows everything. So I'm just like, oh, I thought grandma told you, because she was trying to accuse me and say I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell my grandmother, and that's a fucking lie. My grandma's my fucking best friend. She know every fucking thing. So that was a fucking lie. I'm like, hold on, no, like this, no, like I definitely told my grandma. So I assumed that she told you. So, you know, my mom was, you know, giving me this energy like she was a little irritated with me, and she was upset with me because I didn't really say anything to her. At this point, it was hurting my feelings, because I'm like, bro, I haven't talked to you in a very long time. I haven't had a conversation with you since probably Thanksgiving, and this is like the energy you're coming with, and I'm not fucking with that. So then she proceeds to tell me, well, you know, you're on your own now, so in that case, you're gonna have to pay your own phone bill. And I was talking about that earlier, right? And it just blew me, because I'm like, the way, if I show you the messages, the way it's set up, it just give like you're doing that out of spite because I didn't tell you what the fuck was going on. Like you were doing that out of spite. She likes to do that. The devil just tried to stop me from speaking my truth again. But anyways, like I was saying, oh, look, like I was saying, I feel like my mom always tries to get a reaction out of me. But in the text messages, she also said she told me that she guessed she could reach out to me more and talk to me, and it really rubbed me the wrong way, and it broke me down a lot because I'm like, you guess? Bitch, you ain't talked to me this whole month, really. You guess you could talk to me? The fuck kind of shit is that? Like, it's a lot of things. I'm just saying all that to say, like, it's a lot of things that my mother has done that has shown me a lot about her and her character. And you know, I've had so many times in the past year that I was truly at my wit's end. I was at my limit and I wanted to unalive myself, and I'd be on the floor crying, wishing I could just call my mom. But I don't feel comfortable talking to my mom, only simply because of the fact it's been many times that I've tried to call her since, you know, I've moved to her house, and every time I call her, she acts like she's not interested to hear what the fuck I have to say. She acts like she's bothered, like I'm just bothering her, and it's just like, oh, I don't ever want to feel like I'm burdening anybody. I don't ever want to feel like I'm, you know, getting in the way or pissing you off or bothering you. Like, oh, that's like the worst feeling in the world, and I will just get the fuck on. Like, honestly, it really ain't shit to me. But I have to remind myself every day that a lot of things were not my fault. My mom, my parents, they are just very, very, like, they're not all the way there, like both of my parents. Now, I don't know my dad like that. All I know is stories I've heard from him, about him. I haven't spoken to him since I was like 9 years old, but it's neither here or there. My mom has probably a lot of healing to do, a lot of shit that she needs to sort out for herself to be, you know, there emotionally as a parent. And if you're going through shit with your parents or your family, just remember, like, especially if it's really them, don't blame yourself at all. Be gentle with yourself. Please be gentle with yourself, because, you know, I spent a lot of time reflecting. I blame myself a lot, and it's crazy because my aunt and my uncle, you know, I was telling them about, like, you know, situations that I have going on recently, and they told me, they sat me down, they told me, they said, you blame yourself a lot. Like, we notice, like, in every single situation that you go through, you place blame on yourself in a lot of situations, and I have to learn how to not do that. That's one of the first things I learned in therapy, was to not blame yourself. Like, when I was going through my essay stuff, like, they told me that's the first thing, do not blame yourself. So don't blame yourself for the way your parents are treating you, or, you know, how they made you feel, because it's not your fault, and they need to do some soul searching, and they need some fucking therapy, they damn self. I've struggled a lot with blaming myself and telling myself, like, well, if you were, you know, just a little more well behaved, if you just listened, you know, you wouldn't have such a horrible relationship, or not even horrible, just a very not all the way there relationship with your mother. I really, really wish I could talk to my mom about things that I have going on in my life, and call her randomly, just bother her, and she just be excited to talk to me and excited to hear me. And, you know, I'm not gonna get that from her, so I have to stop trying to search from that love from her and just heal. Just take the time to, like, if you're one of my biggest advice I always give to people, if you're going through something, talk about it. Literally talk about it. It don't matter if you're journaling, you're talking to yourself, you're on your stories posting, spam posting, you talking to other people, whatever the case may be, or like me making a video. Like, get it out, talk about it. That's the way you'll heal, because you're getting it out, you're not holding it in. And I also have an issue with holding in, like, my emotions and how I feel, because I'm just very, very scared of being vulnerable. But that's something that a lot of people have to learn, and myself, I have to learn, like, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to speak up about your feelings, it's okay to tell people where their faults are, you know. really be gentle and really be kind with yourself and forgive yourself if you made mistakes, or if you felt like you could have did things a different way, or whatever situation may be, you could have went about it a certain different way. Like, just don't blame yourself at all. Just, me personally, I feel like I will never get that relationship with my mom, and if I do, it'll be a very, very long time from now. It's just right now is not the time, and I just have to learn to move forward in my life. And that's just somebody that I love, but I have to love them from a distance, and it's very, very hard. I'm telling you, I want nothing more than to be with my mom. Like right now, I want to be by her side at every single moment, every single waking moment, but I just can't. Like, it's a hard truth I had to face, and it sucks. I didn't really touch up on every single thing my mom did, but those were like some of the things that happened in my childhood. It's a whole lot of more backstory, whole lot of more lore. It's a whole lot but it's okay, because I've spent a lot of time reflecting, especially when I was 19. I don't know about y'all, but 19, that's one of them ones. That's one of them years where you just really, you're faced with all of your problems, all of your trauma. You're forced to face it and confront it and fight through it. And 19 was probably one of the hardest years of my life, like, ever. I went through it so much. I'm sorry if the quality just changed. My phone is literally not letting me be great at all. Like, this is the fucking 10th time I've had to stop. As a 20-year-old now, I'm trying to unlearn every single toxic trait, every single bad learned behavior I got from my mom, and seeing the way she is and learning from it. Mind you, y'all, I'm the oldest child. I'm the first child, and I always say the oldest child is the experiment child. So I've faced a great deal of trauma and bad parenting styles and all those things. And if you were only like, if you get it, if you were the oldest child too, like, you understand where I'm coming from. The oldest child always gets done the worst way, and I definitely got done the worst fucking way. So it's been such a process for me trying to navigate through all of my trauma and all of my problems, and all of my bad traits about myself. And I'm trying to do better as a person, and I'm trying to get away from everything bad, everything negative, and just move forward my life so I could be the best version of myself. I want to be better. I want to do better. I do not want to be like my mother at all in the slightest. I just really want to be better and do better. And I love my mom to death, but I just have to accept the fact that she's not gonna give me the love I need in the ways that I need it. And I have to stop searching for that love in other people and find that love within myself. And I do tend to do that as well, also because I have daddy issues as well. So in men, I search for that fatherly love out of these niggas, knowing these niggas not shit. And that be my problem right there. But like I said, be gentle with yourself. You make mistakes, you open up to the wrong people, you give your heart to the wrong people. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's life. Everything that you go through, experience, everybody that comes and goes in your life, they're all here to teach you a lesson. And that's literally the purpose of going through things. Things happen to teach you lessons, and for you to learn from these lessons, take from them, and be better and move forward. And then you'll be the best version of yourself. You'll feel like, bitch, you're on top of the world. But that's all I had to say, honestly. I'm struggling a lot with this journey. It feels like I'm going through a heartbreak with my mother, because I'm kind of making the decision myself to step away from me and her's relationship. I'm taking the initiative to step away from her, get away from all of that toxic negativity, the unhealthy patterns. I'm trying to really step away from that and just flourish on my own. I feel like my family was the biggest thing that was holding me back. My family was holding me back in so many different ways, and I just want them to know that I love them. I'm always gonna love them, of course. It's just I have to love them from a distance, because the type of person I am, I would give and break my back for them, but I have to stop doing that, because in the long run I always end up getting hurt. And you know, I'm tired of repeating the same cycles with them and going through the same shit. Like, it's tiring, it's old, it's draining. I'm over it. I don't want to deal with it no more. So I'm taking a step back, and it hurts a lot because I want nothing more than to talk to my mama. Like, that's my mama. Like, what the fuck? And then, like, bitch, I look like her. Like, bitch, I look in the mirror, I'm like, damn, my mama. Like, I look just like my mother. I took it upon myself to write my mother a letter. And it's basically a goodbye letter. And in the letter, I told her everything that, you know, that she did, all the trauma that I had to face, everything that went wrong in my childhood, and how it's affected me as a adult today. And I also said that I am taking the time to step back, and I kind of don't want you involved with what I have going on anymore. I just don't feel like you're benefiting me in any way. I feel like you're hindering me a lot. And I also wrote that letter because she took it upon herself to go rant to my aunt and my uncle that I live with now in Vegas. She took it upon herself to go, you know, try to tell my business or make it seem like I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person, and that's just not me at all. And I just don't appreciate her taking her time out of her day to, you know, paint this image of me into our extended family's heads. And, you know, I feel like she's trying to make them think of me in an ill manner. So at that point, it made me very, very fed up with her, and I literally want nothing to do with it. And it hurts a lot. It hurts a whole lot, but I have to move forward in my life, and this is just something that, it's just a phase, it's a chapter in my life that I have to go through. And I know later in life, when she's ready and she's gotten to a point where she's emotionally mature enough to fix our relationship, and I'm at a point where I'm emotionally mature enough to fix our relationship, then we can, you know, be the best of friends. But until then, like, I have to fix all the shit that she's done, and not even her, my family, period. Like, I have to fix all that shit now. And that's why I live in Vegas. I had to get the fuck away from them. I just couldn't do it no more. And I feel like this is the best thing for me, and this is really, really needed. But that's pretty much all I had to say. I had to really get that out because it's something that's been bothering me for a few weeks now, well, years, honestly, and it just feels good to talk about it. And I know that there's somebody out there that probably needs to hear this, because you're probably going through it too with your folks. And trust me, I understand, like 100%. But thank y'all for coming to my yap session. I always appreciate y'all tuning in. I always appreciate the feedback. I love the feedback. Thank y'all for the feedback. Like, when I tell y'all, it's been so many people that have been texting me, telling me that I need to keep doing this. Like, I love y'all so much. Y'all don't know how much that, like, makes me, like, it warms my heart up, honestly. Like, it really makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like, okay, this is something that I need to be doing, because a lot of people can relate to me, and I didn't know that. Like, but I love y'all, and I don't know when I'll make another video, but I'll be back soon.